So Games Workshop have just dropped a mysterious teaser and what looks like a countdown towards this Arks of Omen narrative event. Let's talk about what they've hinted and the path towards the end of 9th edition as we know it so far. Hello and welcome back to Warspets Tactics, where today we're talking about Games Workshop's latest teaser for the Arks of Omen, their big finale narrative campaign series that should take us from 9th edition into 10th. This campaign sequence was revealed at their Warhammer Day preview, and we only really got some fairly subtle hints as to what was going to be going on there. Judging by the timing in the edition, after all the codexes have dropped and then moving into a narrative campaign, it does very much look like it's the equivalent of the Psychic Awakening or Gathering Storm equivalent of 9th edition that we had in 8th and 7th. Generally, those events have followed some stories that actually changed the narrative of the 40k universe in one way or another. We had Primarch Gilliman come back towards the end of 7th, and a whole host of narrative progression in Psychic Awakening, including Blood Angel's showdown with the Tyranids, the next phase of expansion for the Tau Empire, and all culminating in the Indomitus Crusade running into the Pariah Nexus of the Necrons, which kicked off 9th. For this one, they've already told us the driving narrative of the story. Abaddon, fresh from destroying Cadia and creating the Great Rift, is now battling to cut off the Imperium Nihilus from the main Imperium and the Light of the Golden Throne, and lately his forces have been crusading their way towards a whole bunch of Space Hulks that have been materialising in various locations across the galaxy. These are the Arks of Omen, though at the moment we don't know exactly what's going to be going on them yet. A new and unrevealed character is reportedly helping Abaddon to unlock their secrets, whatever they may be. It looks like a Dark Mechanicum character who we'll cycle back to in just a second, and according to Warhammer Community, it's the biggest lore event since the update since the Great Rift opened. I'm sure there'll be all sorts of content for various different factions as they're fighting across the galaxy, and a few new models. They have confirmed that it is going to be a series of campaign books, though in a bit of a departure from the norm, it isn't just going to be the rules for the main game of 40k within those campaign books. If there are any rules updates, it sounds like they might well be coming in digital form rather than baked into them. Apparently the campaign books are going to be some supplemental content for 40k, allowing you to fight indoors with boarding actions and things. Maybe a bit of an expansion, a bit similar to Apocalypse or Cities of Death or something. Apparently there will be a whole bunch of new models, though it sounds like there's not going to be one for each faction, as well as this Dark Mechanicus character. I have seen a few different rumours for these. I've noticed a few different sources saying that there might well be a Primaris version of Commander Dante for the Blood Angels, and a new Commander Farsight from the Tau. I feel like Chapter Master Valrak is the most notable source saying those. I don't know whether the rest are just parroting him or they're getting other information from elsewhere. That would certainly be cool though, even if it might be a bit surprising for the oldest of the Blood Angels in Dante to successfully cross the Rubicon Primaris, which is supposed to be kind of dangerous and not good for Space Marines that are perhaps a bit more fragile. In any case though, this is the first that we've heard of Arks of Omen since that big preview, and Games Workshop have unleashed a mysterious new teaser, and most interestingly what looks like a countdown on their Warhammer community webpage. The first teaser that they've revealed for this really I don't think is particularly specific, but it's more kind of interesting that we're going to be getting more of them than anything else. The first teaser is a video that they posted on their social media, and it leads to a video titled Number 1, The Galaxy, and shows a card from the Emperor's Tarot, while a voice reads out, "The galaxy burns in the fire of ambition, another round of the great game begins." Just saying that the galaxy is going to be in trouble a bit maybe isn't anything particularly new for 40k, I feel. I don't think that you could point to many times in recent 40k history where the galaxy hasn't been in permacrisis, but I guess every so often there are things that shake up the status quo, and this one's probably going to be one of them. The fact that this is number 1 and there's 9 different notches on a little tracker that we get seems that there might be an Arks of Omen countdown, and perhaps when we get to the end of it, that's when we'll get the first actual content, or it might be dropping alongside maybe. I think it's kind of interesting to deliver the teasers via the way of the tarot cards, which are a thing in the background of 40k itself. They're a set of psychically linked cards that are believed to be one of the main ways of attuning yourself to the Emperor's will, and when read by a gifted psyker can give you visions of the future, or insights drawn from the will of the Emperor himself to guide Imperial forces to victory. When the messages are drawn entirely from the order of some very vague and nebulous cards coming out though, I'm sure it's not going to be too obvious exactly what's going to be coming from them, and particularly not from just one of them showing a galaxy. If you follow the link at the end of the teaser trailer, it has a section in the Warhammer community website with that little 9-notch tracker, and the text on that webpage reads, "Mysterious forces plot in the shadows of the Dark Imperium. Only the God Emperor knows what grim fate awaits, so we turn to his holy tarot for guidance in these uncertain times." These prognosticating parables accompany the unfolding events of Arks of Omen, Tune in each Friday to reveal what the tarot reveals as the saga unfolds. So it does sound like we're probably going to be getting one of these tarot cards each week, hopefully with something a bit more specific than the galaxy is in trouble a bit, and we'll get a bit more concrete detail. If I'm counting the numbers right and that tracker is accurate, then it looks like the last one would be on the Friday just before Christmas, and Games Workshop does have a bit of a history of dropping big reveals on Christmas Day itself. Say, for example, last year when we had the Eldar vs Chaos box revealed on Christmas Day, with the new Shroudrunner jet bikes and the Rangers and things. Maybe this might be tying in a little bit with their Advent previews and things if they're still doing those, and a big countdown to an actual reveal on Christmas Day. In any case, it's all very mysterious at the moment, though they did give us a fair few clues as to what to expect from their preview earlier. I'm going to guess that perhaps one of the earliest reveals out of this whole Arks of Omen thing is probably going to be this Arkifane character, something that looks very Dark Mechanicus and has multiple different rumour engines incorporated in the model, which they actually gave us a really good silhouette outline of in their blurry teaser trailer. It basically looks like a mechanical demon prince, and people are generally suspecting that it's going to be something along the Dark Mechanicum lines. And if it is Dark Mechanicum, I suspect it's probably not going to be wholly aligned to any one Chaos faction, so you might be able to field it as something like an agent of Chaos amongst multiple different Chaos armies. Just with that silhouette and the burning flames on the backpack and the whole load of mechanical wings and hammer and claw and stuff, I feel like it looks like it's going to be a pretty cool model. Going to be interesting to see what that new character does. From the narrative teasers, it sounds like this character's maybe going to show Abaddon what's going on with those new arcs and how he could potentially use them as a weapon against the Imperium. If I had just to wildly speculate in a way that might be fun for them releasing more models, it might be cool to have some Dark Mechanicum units that they find lurking amongst those arcs and then use them as a weapon deployed against the Imperium with a whole load of new forces all of a sudden. That would be cool and maybe give them a way to realise another mini faction for Chaos. I guess it could just be a slightly less interesting backstory where in some way the arcs themselves are a weapon that can break planets or something, and there has to be a whole load of fighting to try and stop the chaos, and a whole load of fighting aboard the arcs. Speaking of which, they did basically confirm that the 40k expansion set will be like 40k but indoors, no vehicles and monsters, but just a bunch of rules for fighting 40k in these twisted indoor corridors representing the Space Hulk. I wouldn't be too surprised if there's some sort of rules for breaching bulkheads and that kind of thing. I'd guess that the expansion will probably come in the first Arks of Omen book, whatever that is, and then released alongside this Boarding Actions box set, which basically seems to be terrain very akin to the ones released in the recent Kill Team sets. I'll be kind of intrigued as to how that's going to work. I can't help but think that it's going to be quite a tricky one to implement fairly for all armies. If you are shotting out vehicles and monsters, then some armies just rely on those a lot more than others, so you're probably going to penalise them. Obviously, it looks like it'll just be unplayable for armies like Knights, for example. I also can't help but think that maybe some armies like Tau that have a much bigger range focus might really struggle at close range things where they can't hide away from the enemy and stay out of combat. I guess we'll see how they implement it though. It could be a fun alternative way to play to shake up games a bit, and could be a fun alternate game mode. Let me know what you make of this teaser though, and the Arks of Omen reveals that have happened so far. What will be the best possible outcome from this campaign to make some more positive 40k content and realise some cool stuff? Look forward to reading your thoughts as always down in the comments. If you've enjoyed the video, then feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics, where I'll certainly keep up with the regular 40k content. I do tend to post things just about every day. Finally, if you have been enjoying all the videos on the channel, Auspex Tactics does have a Patreon page as well, and you can find that links down in the video description below. Channel patrons do get a fair few advantages, including seeing certain videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things come next on the channel, and automatic entry into the regular prize giveaways with the chance to win some big model kits each month. If any of that sounds good to you, or you'd just like to help support, the link is down in the video description. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.